It is I, the disembodied voice. We will be beginning very soon, and learning some diction along the way. Hello, chums. It is I, your game design friend Sojourner, and I am here today to talk a little bit about bingo. That is our topic for tonight, and we're going to do everything we can to talk about bingo. To be honest, I'm looking for my PNG tuber, which has disappeared with my latest. I had to redo everything on Streamlabs yet again, so you can enjoy some owls. Memorize the ale and bingo. It will come in handy. No prizes will be given out. We're not that kind of stream. We're not that rich. All right. I'm not going to be able to do it quickly. I should have seen that before. We're going to have to live without me having a PNG tuber. See if Steve Cam still works. No, Steve Cam doesn't still work. Fine. Today, I'm a disembodied voice. But what are we going to talk about today? So last week we played Tale Tavern with our friend Chanel, and we saw a lot of things about how co-op is good. What is co-op? Well, how does we likes the co-ops? And this week we're going to do the opposite side, which is the dangers of co-op. And I like to call this one How to Be a Hero Despite All Those Other People. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Chanel will join us shortly. Here we have our tavern in flight, the Ale O'Day Inn. And though it says Cloud Yeller connected, I should probably introduce myself. My name is Sojourner, and I am a video game designer with 20 years of experience. I'm hanging out here on the Pie Trap channel tonight to talk a lot about... Shan got there anyway, right? Whoa. We're going to address this... exciting development with Shan here in just a moment. Luckily I have a sword. I can defeat the pumpkin hero. Don't you know I'm terrified of pumpkins in this game? Oh no, she's defeating me with a broom. All right, look at this. Look at what we're doing. We're co-oping, and we're not even really doing the game yet. However, there's now two of us. Before there was one, and I was the hero, unambiguously. Now, who's the hero? Are we heroes? Is this like a team hero thing? Can you have two heroes at once? Who's in charge? Who isn't in charge? So co-op suddenly becomes a whole bunch of new problems to solve. And we're going to talk about that. Hey, Shan, let's go ahead and go into the tavern. I have set this place up like you wouldn't believe. I got drinks. I've got a bunch of food that we've made. We're ready to go whenever you are. And let's address the elephant in the room, which is I miss you, Shan. I'm sad that you got turned into a vegetable. There, I said it. I feel better that I got it out of my system. So the only new thing since you came here, other than the fact that I stocked the bar with everything, is we're doing apple juice, at least for the foreseeable future, because we have so flippin' many apples. And we have some food, but I'm only selling the boiled chicken eggs since we have something like 50 chicken eggs hanging out, and we have a whole pile of them outside. If there's one thing chickens like to do, apparently, it's lay eggs like a machine gun. All right, so speaking of machine guns, so you don't have an inventory right now, Shan? I can't remember how this works. And you can use your voice if you have it. I don't. Did we have to be on Discord to make this work? I do, right? Do I? Oh. So many things have come together. No, this isn't going to work because I still don't have the Tuber's URL connection. But let's hop into a channel. Let's hop into the Williamsverse. Oh, look at that. My PNG Tuber arrived. All is well. Great. Thank you for reminding me about Discord. I know you didn't intend to, but here we are. A time of magic and fun. All right, so we are... Now I just realized now you got several doodads. And I'm going to be removing the Ale and Bingo card. We're just doing our intro. And this will be coming up every 15 minutes. So that way you can mark off your card. Take a screenshot. Mark it off at home. If you win, if you get bingo, simply tell us. I would like us all to get a bingo. And that's not going to be hard because, you know, I say all these things. But I don't even remember what I put on there. So hopefully this is as organic as it gets. And since we are organic, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to do when I talk about the dangers of co-op. Why you can't be a hero, perhaps, when there's other people. So you can see I have a sword now. So very little development. But I did go up 3 tavern levels by accident, and now we have a washing machine. So we can wash the dirty bed sheets of our inn folks. Boy, this sounds like a lot, isn't it? And look at all these doodads in my inventory. So this is a tavern running game. And what you do is you create beverages and foods, and then you sell them to a very ungrateful populace. Also, we have just unlocked the ability to have... what are these things called? Inn rooms. Rooms for people. In rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Shan, how you feeling about opening the tavern? And by the way, check the menu first.
I'm gathering eggs, but the one thing that we should remember is that last time we had those royalty client customers.
Right.
And ask stuff that is not on the menu.
Well, we have some of those Oh, please.
We should have as much variety as we can. Not necessarily put everything on the menu, but we shall see what kind of customers we're gonna have.
Okay.
Why do we have a balloon?
I know. I haven't checked out the balloon. Shall we go check out the balloon together? I'll be right there. I saw the balloon and I said, "This is a Shan thing. This is not a Cloud Yeller thing necessarily." It's a frog. It's a frog, everyone. It's a frog wearing body armor. And charming? I'll be the judge of that. I've seen the movie Ice Pirates. I think frogs are charming.
Hello there. I'm Frog Charming. But don't get your hopes up. I'm not turning into a prince. And certainly no kissing involved. Phew. It's a long way to get to you. At least there's no traffic. The rumors about you have reached even the capital. More specifically, about your tavern and the wonders you're pulling off. The king himself sent me here, yes. Bring me this, he said, handing me a list. And he strictly forbade me from returning empty-handed. So, I'll just stand here, looking charming, while you load everything up. We wouldn't want to disappoint the king, would we? I quite like being alive, yes. Anyway, here's the list. Gather everything on it and hand it over to me. The king will reward you generously.
I'm just going to say it. That is easily the best voice acting I've heard in this game. We've had a number of characters. And by the way, there's a voiced protagonist. I have strong opinions about voiced protagonists, both on a professional level and on a personal level. When you are a voiced protagonist, you take away the agency of the player to be who they imagine they are. Now, if it's a story built around a protagonist, like Half-Life or something, then yes, that's totally fine, because you could be a voiced protagonist. Well, Half-Life's the worst, because it doesn't have a voiced protagonist. But you know what I mean, like Cyberpunk or something. As long as your character is persistent, and it's part of your story, then a voiced protagonist makes sense. But here, I'm just a little boy voice, and I'm not quite sure if that's who I am, given that this game is so fluid and it isn't built around a narrative of one person. Voice protagonist. Grr. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to load up a balloon while I talk a little bit about some topics. What do we need, by the way? We need raw ribs. Okay, already we're out of our league. 2 beer barrels. Okay. 29 corn, 20 potatoes, 25 white mushrooms, 1 grape juice barrel, and 23 carrots. Believe it or not, we have a number of these things. I don't know, Shan, if you want to start loading up, and I'll open up the tavern and start talking about the topic. Or
Sure.
you could stand there and be flippin' ominous if you like.
We have 25 white mushrooms.
I think so. I think we have... Well, all I know is those chests are bursting. Oh, I forgot to actually open. The Illide Inn is open. So this game does do an interesting thing where they actually spawn... See, there's someone now. They spawn the customers at the edge of the map. And they actually take the transit time, the traversal time, there we go, to get to you. And then, by the way, when they're done, they walk out, and that's some kind of like soft, what's the word I'm looking for? Soft lever on how many customers there are, how many people can be on the screen, how many actors are there, because there is some sort of limit on just the road itself. So here we have our first customer. Oh, Lancelot Moonsilver. Let me tell you about the Moonsilvers. They come from Charlemagne-Land, and the problem with them are, well, I'm going to be blunt. They're drunks. And so, the Illide Inn, they're on the ale side of the Illide Inn. And let me tell you, those Moonshadows, they normally like weird drinks. We got lucky that we got one of the least weird. So our owls are going to take care of that. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the dangers of co-op. So, have you ever heard of a game called EverQuest? EverQuest did a thing where they made heroes disappear. You go into the game thinking you're going to be a hero, and then you discover, no, you're a clerk who's part of a corporation looking to convert time into gold. It was a heartbreaking thing for a lot of people, and weirdly, they leaned into it with their famous ad series, It's Time to Slay the Dragon. So these were on actual television, which I guess isn't that surprising because WoW's done this and so have a lot of other games. But back in the day, anything like this being on the television was wild. And this intro, this commercial, literally was a bunch of people calling each other, because back then we had phones, and said, it's time to slay the dragon. That's the thing. Ironically, they didn't have a dragon that you could slay at that time in the game, but we're not here to quibble. Shan, I have a cupcake. But I don't have any whiskey mugs or barley porridge, so, I mean, we can make a barley porridge, but I don't think we're going to be able to make whiskey anytime soon. So there was this heartbreaking story because you're told, oh, I'm going to go slay a dragon, but they strongly imply what's actually going to happen when you see that there's like 30 people gathering to slay this dragon. In fiction, 30 people don't slay a dragon. I mean, it happens, right? Like, fiction's bigger than it used to be. But back in the day, traditional fantasy was about a person, or at best a small group, like 5 people at best, 3 probably, taking out monsters, taking out dragons, and one of them shoots an arrow, and that's enough to kill, stuff like that. And so, suddenly we got EverQuest, which is like, okay, unless you have 30 people all online at the exact same moment, all wanting to do this, all with knowledge about how to play, and more importantly, all at the same level of progression. Only then can you play the game. Only then can you attempt to slay the dragon, which they didn't really have one back at that time. But it was time to slay at least the monster that required 30 people or so. So this is a big step back, a huge step back in a lot of ways from games like Ultima Online, Star Wars Galaxies, and then the Diku Muds and stuff before that. Wow, folks, we are behind. We have an owl who is not doing their owl business. Okay, we're also running out of ale, so I'm going to take it off the menu. Doesn't matter, it's the least valuable thing we have on the menu. Okay, you wanted an ale mug? Cheapy. I have some of this food. We do not have... oh, I thought he was asking for beer ribs. Like, kind of weird restaurant do you think we're doing here? Okay, hopefully we have more beer. Meanwhile,
you had prepared everything.
Well, I had, but look at this. Look at all these customers. I certainly didn't invite them. We need broom duty over here. Calling a broom. Summon a broom. Go get him, Tiger.
It's my new costume. I should not require a broom.
Yeah, I was going to say, all you have to do is walk up to him and say... I just think that this... Oh, I forgot to hit actually go. Well, I'm terrified of scarecrows, and now I get to say that 10 times, 20 times, 30 times a session, which is good because I'm going to be saying that a lot. All right, I'm going to close the tavern real quick. We have too many drunks.
Yeah, I chased the royal.
Good. Oh, yeah, I found out I could do that earlier today, too. You can just beat them with a broom. I always love the final customer who's in here, just chilling, thinking about those eggs, in reverie about eggs. Once upon a time, eggs were cheap. You could buy them in a store. But now you have to invade a small country to afford them. What a time, what a time. And it's because Charlemagne the Land dragged us into a war. I'm sure you remember that. Wars are terrible. Do not do them. By the way, Shan, we have we have a mug rack here. So we got 5 mugs here. And I'm carrying 6 mugs. So we are mug rich right now. I'm going to go ahead and fill some. We're officially out of ale. Good riddance. Patooey. So we broke our hearts with this EverQuest idea that you can go kill things, but it's going to take an army. It's going to take some sort of coordination that even corporations can't do with their flippin' meeting system. And so this required epic effort to do very seemingly epic things that really don't feel terribly epic. So you're one person. You're one person in this giant raid. That's just not epic, right? Like, that's not a thing where you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, I am the hero. Now, you may be thinking I'm part of a team, like my softball team, and that's great. That scratches a different itch, but that's not heroism at that point. That's being a team player. Doors are hard. That's being a team player, and that's a completely different topic. But here we're talking about heroism itself. The reason you log into this game is you want to be good. You want to do things. You want to win. Whatever that means, right? Whatever that means in the context of the game. So we've already met head on the first danger, if you will, of co-op, which is suddenly you are no longer a hero. I call it the disappearing hero, right? Before you logged in, you had in your mind, I am a hero. And I'm going to go do a hero thing in a hero game. And by golly, people will like me at last. And they won't push me around at school, and suddenly Mindy Jones at third period will like me. These are real things. These are real motivations. But in the end, you're not the hero that you logged in as. You've disappeared. You've been subsumed into the populace. This thing where once upon a time there were farmers and they walked the land and they knew each other's names, and now we have millions within a city. You don't know anyone, even your neighbors. So it's that kind of vibe, right? Like, we've gone from, like analog to digital. We've gone from artisanal to mass produced. So because you're just one person, you've disappeared. And it erases your agency. As a game player, agency is what you want. By the way, before I start talking about agency, Shan, speaking of agency, do you have any needs? Because I'm carrying 2 beers, 2 fried boar steaks, and a barley. I'm just carrying everything. I got 2 apple juices, dogs and cats living together. I'm just going to reopen the place. We've got so much stuff. Yeah, we have plenty of boiled eggs.
I made apple juice barrel, so...
Okay, I'll keep it on then.
So, beer...
We should... Go ahead, please. So, beer is...
Beer, or do we want ale?
We do not want ale. And even beer is starting to have diminishing returns on the XP. But for now, it's okay. But ale is, I think ale is... They take away XP. They're like, get out of here, you. Do I even still have ale on the menu? I just want to get rid of what we have. Because we have... What is that? 4 or 5 left?
So we need wine.
Wine, please, because we have all the beer and we have a few apple juices left. But yeah, we have beer and we have an empty barrel, 2 empty barrels. So I'm going to go ahead and open, and we'll talk about the disappearing hero some more. By the way, how are you all doing out there? This is a very different format than my usual Twitch setup, and so because of that, I'm a little detached. I'm floating out in space. I mean, I see Uglervisk. Somehow, Cripes and Nelly. I'm just going to be stream of consciousness here. I have the wrong overlay for me personally, so I cannot see chat, and I do not have my chat sounds because we are here at Pet Trap, and that is totally fine, but I do need to remember to check chat, which is hard because I have my notes. So we're still talking about the disappearing hero, and I want to... Oh, Cripes. Oh, I'm drunk now. Okay, that's cool. This is, can confirm, this is 100% what it's like to be drunk. Kids, stay in school. Stay in school. Or else you're going to end up like this. They keep messing with the controls, guys. True story. Once upon a time, I was in another country at a job interview, which was not a time you want to be drinking heavily. But Germans, they have sneaky beer. It tastes like lemonade, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, I am non-mobile. And I remember getting up, trying to go to the bathroom, and I remember saying out loud, they reversed my controls. So don't be a game designer either. Stay in school. All right, so I'm going to take away the Hail and Bingo card. Hopefully you folks are playing at home. Shan, you are being addressed by our friend Uglavik. I'm going to have to get... I'm finally... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, I unfortunately have to mute Twitch. Otherwise, I have everything in double, so I don't hear the chat either.
It's okay. It's just Uglervisk. He's probably disappointed that we're not robots.
Just Uglervisk. It's Uglervisk. Yay.
Yeah, we that is true. That is very true. All right. I'm finally deploying the stuff in my inventory. We got one of those king guys, and I am not making barley cake and trout soup. First off, the frost blades really are not real royalty. They come from Charlemagne land, and they are... I'm going to say they're drunks, but they're a nation of drunks, right? It's like saying, fish. This is a water fish. Well, they're all water fish, And I'm not trying to disparage them. They used to execute people for making fun of them, but now they're pretty chill, mostly because they're drunk.
Barley cake is so easy to do. I'm just gonna make one.
So barley cake and boiled corn we can do if we have space in our machine. I can make the boiled corn at least while you make the barley cake. But I need a plate. Plates are here. Let's get ourselves a plate. And now I can make corn. So weirdly, I'm going to talk about another thing real quick. Weirdly, one of the limiting factors in this game is stove space, because you don't have an easy way to gather lots and lots of things. Things have to be in plates. Oh boy. Oh no, it's all on fire. All is lost. Our investments, our dreams. Oh wait. Okay, we're fine. Normally there's a target. Where's my target? Oh. I love the cleaning. The cleaning owl is like, I gotta clean this stuff.
You're so slow.
Wait, there's more. Oh, I have to hit the fire? I bet you I have to use water.
Ouch.
Yeah. Turns out fire hot. Okay, let me refill. Maybe I need a full bucket of water.
Oh.
It went out?
Did it?
Maybe we needed to hit it with a broom. As an avid camper, I can confirm very correctly that hitting fire with a stick puts it out more than you would think. Okay, let's take a look at that quest. I'm going to start bringing stuff out and finish up this thing on the disappearing hero. The catchphrase for this section, I wrote a catchphrase for every section because why not? As you all know, I live for these things. I take time out of my day every day to think about this stuff. Okay, so You gave them all of our white mushrooms already?
Yeah, I'm missing 4, I think. We didn't have 25.
Okay. I have the carrots. I just want to talk to the frog. Come here, frog. Let's be friends. Or at least not enemies.
Oh, thanks for the delivery.
You are welcome. Do we have a beer barrel just kicking around? Because I'm going to go ahead and buy a couple more barrels. I got to go talk to the barrel to get barrels. And then I got to see if I can get around this creepy merchant. Ah, he still got me. Someday. Okay, we got 2 more barrels. Do you want a sword? Oh, go ahead.
You need a table to hold the barrels.
Why? What my goal was is to pay the quest off. We're at the fried trout level. So that I can carry the barrels to the quest. We don't need the cradle for that.
Oh, yeah.
At least I hope so. Seems to be how it used to be. So we need 2 beer barrels. I'm just going to focus on that stuff while... Barleywort! I said barleywort. And water bucket. Hops. Do we still have hops? We still have hops. Are we open? Oh, wow. I probably should pay a little attention to that then. Okay, 1 beer barrel on its way. What do we got going on there? A lot of apple juice wanters, and I don't think we have any more apple juice, so I'm taking that off the menu.
No, we have a full barrel of apple juice.
Where is it? Oh, okay. Well, I'm putting it back on the menu. Where are you, apple juice? I didn't mean it. Yeah, because it's one of our big XP ones. Are we out of ale, at least?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking it off the menu then. And how are we on boiled chicken eggs?
Need some more.
Okay. I'm going to keep going with the questy stuff. So here you see one of the things about co-op. Which one of us is in charge? And the good news is, we covered that last week. There is a big upside to co-op, right? Which is we have a team and we can lean on each other. We don't have to sit there and think that we have to do everything. So there are still good things, but we are occupied. Okay. But we are still, no one's in charge. And if you want to be the hero, no one's the hero right now. Do we have any we don't have any barley porridge. Barely any barley. So when everyone is a hero, no one is. So in this game, we don't need to be heroes. We're running a tavern, for crying out loud. Now we can go out and slay bears and use our swords, but in the end, that's not what we're here for. So this allows us to be able to safely go into... oh wow, we're out of those things. Apple juice and beer. Haha!
How do we make wine again?
It's in the press over there. You have to give them an interview, and then a first and a second source. Anyways, yeah, I think we make grape juice first, and then we put it in the barrel. Yeah, and then we put it in the barrel, the fermenter. I was gonna say we do have apple juice, bud. Okay, I think... Do I have plates? Am I just sitting on a bounty of plates? I am not. Oh, wow, you're fast.
Yeah.
So when everyone's the hero, no one's the hero, right? So we don't have heroism in this game because we're both equal. We're working together as a team. And we have, the group project thing, right? Well, one person's doing more than the other. And that's often a big problem when you have 40 people in a raid. I had to take your broom time away from you. I'm sorry.
I will never do this thing.
I do like the to add beer mug, or to add mugs, it's called upload. All right, I'm going to close because we are. Well, we got the chicken eggs, that's for sure. Chicken eggs for you. Chicken eggs for you. No chicken eggs for you. Oh, never mind. The owl got you.
The wine is in the almost done.
The potion is in the pestle.
The wine is almost done.
I'm trying to remember that Danny Kaye thing.
I would not dare try to make an impression of Danny Kaye. I love him too much.
You know what I'm talking about? The one where the medieval one where he has to do the potion in the pestle and all that stuff, where the poison is.
The King's Jesters.
The King's Jester. That's right. I watched a section from it the other day, for a completely unrelated reason. I do love the meaty thwack we get out of those. That's the very definition of satisfying. I'm going to make some more boiled chicken eggs. It's a thing we seem to be able to do well. It's our speciality. So with these vanishing heroes, we have to look at things like, as I said in this game, finding a way to make you not the hero, or at least not explicitly someone who lives and dies by being a hero. But we also have to do things about... oh, I see what happened there. Are you finished with the fermenter? Can I use it?
Yep.
Okay. I need to make another beer barrel. Beer barrel. And I need some barley to make the beer barrel, because I barely got any barley for the beer barrel. See, if Ministress was here, they would be happy, because I'm saying barely barley all the time. This is a good time to bring up the bingo again. Play along at home. Well, look at you, double fister. You know what they say, beer before liquor, never sicker. Wine before beer, you're upper crust and don't need to be here.
Grape juice, lady, and porridge. We don't have porridge. We don't have grape juice.
We don't have grape juice anymore. I can plant some grapes, I guess, but... Oh, that's right, I need a new hoe. I'll go get that, and
some seeds.
And so, grape seeds? I thought we had some, but I will get some grape seeds.
I used them.
Oh, okay. I need to go talk to the barrel. What if... Ah, he still got me. Someday, someday. You don't know, friends, just how much I want to defeat that guy and not have him talk to me. Grape seeds, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And carrots also, and potatoes for the quest.
Well, goodness, suddenly this got expensive. Do we even have any money? Oh, wow. While I wasn't paying attention, we made a ton of money. I was talking about my educational crap. No one needs time for that business, or no one has time for that business. Hooray! I have no idea what level we are anymore. I have no idea of anything. Time has no meaning.
18, nice.
Yeah. It's a good year. Unlike most people, my senior year, my high school experience was awesome, and my senior year was incredible. Only because my expectations were incredibly low. And because of that, apparently I was the coolest guy in class, which I think is a way to try and get money out of me or something. I'm just kidding. So, if you are no longer the hero because you're part of a crowd, what's the next problem? Surely there's a next problem. You can't just get away with things with just one problem. And that's what we call the pressure cooker, right? So if you're the disappeared hero, you are no longer a hero that is the scene, then you have at least the idea of, I would like to play at my own pace. No, you may not. So if you are part of a party, if you are doing the co-op thing because you need to do co-op, or you desire to do co-op, you're suddenly on someone else's schedule, and you're suddenly on someone else's requirements. And by the way, this may not be one person's. This may be just a collective requirement. You get into a group of 4, and 3 of them are like, we need to go do this mini raid, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I just wanted to pick flowers. So that is a very common thing with grouping. But that's not where we're going to talk about it right now. Instead, we're going to talk about the other side of that, which is what happens once you're in one of these pressure cookers. And a classic example is a new player wants to read, right? They want to read all the cool things. Oh, my inventory's full. Okay, they want to read all the cool things, right? But then there's these people who have played the game for years. Do they want to stand around while someone else reads? No, especially if the game allows you to do it over and over and over again. Warframe has this problem. I am still a fairly new player.
I'm with you in spirit.
I'm with you in spirit too, my frog friend. Now we need a grape juice barrel without whining it. And we're going to have to get rid of it, so I'm going to go buy another barrel. Did I give you the seeds? I did not. Let me put the seeds in the barrel closest to the this one.
That's a chest, but okay.
What did I say it was?
Barrel.
I got talk to the barrel on my mind. Speaking of which, I got to get rid of the bingo. I have a timer here, and I have not looked at it once. For like how often to do that. Did my... okay, so I need a grape juice. So that's just the press. The free press, my friends. Oh, I'm staring confusedly because I don't have any seeds anymore. It's not the kind of guy I am. But Sojourner, tell us about these pressure cooker parties. I'm glad you asked, invisible friend. It's things like skipping the dialogue. If you play Warframe, and I'm a pretty new player in that I'm pretty good at fighting, but the way players play the game now is, I would argue, is not really playing the game. They're trying to speedrun everything, and that's because there's a strong grinding element to the game. And so for that reason... Oh, wait. So for that reason, people go through, and they'll go through a level that will take me 20-25 minutes while I'm just wandering around doing all the things. They'll do it in a minute and 30 seconds. I'm not kidding. So you, as the least experienced player, are dragged along. You don't have the choice of exploring things. You don't have the choice of looking at some of the side content. You don't have the choice of finding the hidden collectibles. None of that. You gotta just keep up. And if you don't have the gear to keep up, if you're not properly set up for this, they're just gonna leave you to die. So this pressure cooker puts a lot of stress on you. You just came in to be a hero, and you're not even getting to be a hero. And then you want to at least get through the level and feel like you're contributing, but you are not. And everything you do is a hindrance to other players, and they know it, and they tell you it. So this puts yet more of a pressure cooker on you. You more and more realize that you are really not able to contribute enough, and so now you are now a passenger. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a bit.
It is interesting because a lot of that has changed with WoW.
Uh-huh.
Like for instance in EverQuest it was very grindy.
Yes.
But I made friends because you were camping for hours and you were socializing because we were all in there for the same thing. It's not ideal because we wouldn't have the time to do that now, for instance. But it created a different experience. I'm not talking about raids because raids were really like, oh my goodness, it's a second job. But with WoW, I remember in World of Warcraft being so disappointed because people were just inviting you to a party or to a group to do a quest and then disbanding. It was continuously so.
Mm-hmm.
Not hi, no thank you, no how are you doing. So the whole social aspect was actually not there at all anymore.
So let's kind of address that. That's on a different topic, different bullet point. But you are talking about two different things, and I think it's a good idea for us to tease those together. Social play is wonderful, and it is part of what we talked about last week about why co-op is good, because this allowed you, like you said, you made friends. You and I became friends because of video games. So it's not like this is a crazy idea. In fact, it's the opposite of crazy. I met, I'm going to say, I met a large percentage of the people that I now know, at least adjacent to games. So we have this positive social aspect, but I heard you say something very interesting, which is we camped for hours, and that's not something you can do anymore because of your schedule. So there's two things there that are making co-op problematic for you, right? First off, the camping for hours. It's not a thing that you're physically capable of doing because you have an adult life. And even when you do so, often this content is hotly contested, and that is the next bullet point. So I'm glad you gave me a little bit of a segue. But I appreciate that you gave us that wedge between what is fun because we're working together, we're talking, we're having a team, and what is fun because I wanted to play the way I want to play. What is fun because I want to do things at my own pace. What is fun because I want all the cool loot. And so these are really, this is why there's a wedge here. Last week we kind of got to all the cool stuff about like why WoW is cool and why WoW wasn't cool and why World of Warcraft was cool. We talked about UO, where despite the fact that it was a great social place, it was a hellhole otherwise because players were able to grief each other all the time. But let's kind of finish up pressure cooker parties, and then we can talk about the loot lottery, which I think is the underlying problem that causes a lot of your player friends and player acquaintances to do exactly what you said, which is, oh no, zombies. Any survivors? Exactly one customer remained. It's like, zombies. I don't care. I got a zombie at home. I think I have a beer. Nope. Alright, I'm going to close and have us recover from this terrible loss.
Oh yeah, because our service speed has decreased to 38%. That is very bad.
Where are you seeing that? Is that on the order board over there?
No. Tab and status.
At least we're clean. At least we have a good variety. But no, we don't like our customers nearly enough. That poor lady's been waiting for a boiled egg for some time. And we can't have one because fire foes.
Coming, lady, coming, I would say. There.
Oh, I'm almost dead. I'm very close to being dead. Yipes, Nelly. That is angry and lively. I don't know if this is a life or some sort of half-life I'm in now. That was a multi-layered joke. You're welcome. So while we have the bubbly going on, we're going to finish up the pressure cooker, which is if you want to do things, if you log in and you say, I would like to fish this session, that is another thing that might be taken away from you. And by, I don't mean like by force. No one shows up at your house and says you have to do this thing. But you have that social pressure that's on you. Why are you not raiding? We need another person. We need a tank. We need a healer. We need a healer. We need a healer. It's, you know, that's what they always say. And so for that reason, you can't do what you want. You can no longer enjoy looking at sunsets and stuff like that. So that's the pressure cooker. Now, let's move on to another thing that was alluded to with camping, and that's what is called the loot lottery. When you engage in group content, there are many ways and many solutions to how to distribute that fairly on the game developer's side. But there is no way to truly make them fair and to truly give the player the sense that it's fair. Because no matter how random number generators work, there's going to be streaks, there's going to be patterns, even if the player doesn't realize that there's a pattern. And why do we have this? I guess we have this for this reason. We need to make some grape juice, it looks like.
How do we do cider?
I think we have to... Well, this is cooking now, but I think I saw it over here at the fermenter. Go forth, my barley. Yeah, do we have grapes?
Yeah, I'm gathering them.
Okay. If you would be so kind as to throw 10 into the place, that would be awesome. I actually have compost for next time. I'll help you harvest. Teamwork! Who's the hero now? We both are. So, by the way, there is such a thing as community work. Barn raising is a classic example where work is not intended to get you you personally anything other than the joy of teamwork. Barn raising, of course, is the classic example. Someone's benefiting, and it's one person, but barn raisings are all about socialism, right? We all win when one person wins. It's a democracy of effort, democracy of economy. So, so to finish this pressure cooker, if you want to fish, too bad. If you want to mine, too bad. If you want to stop and harvest while we're doing the adventure, too bad. So all of these things create the kind of pressure, the bad kind of pressure on the player. I don't want to do what I don't want to do. Now, speaking personally as Sojourner,
thanks for the delivery.
Yeah, you know, I do what I can, buddy. I work out, I eat right. So I personally don't enjoy groups. I play MMORPGs, but I don't necessarily enjoy groups. And part of the reason why is this exact pressure cooker. This is the thing that I respond to. I have two problems when I log in and I have to do group content. Number one is I don't want to do group content. I want to do my thing. And if I'm grouping, it's because I need to, for whatever reason. And then the second thing is, even if I don't do group content, or even if I don't need to do group content, people might want to do stuff with me because we're both online and it's fun. That's fine. But in every case, you're listening to me being derailed from my original intent, whatever that was. And so for some people like me, that's kind of not cool. Other people, it's fine because they don't necessarily have an agenda every time they play. And perhaps you shouldn't. Perhaps. Oh no, another voodoo doll. I have no idea what these voodoo dolls are, but people keep leaving them in the rooms. I'm assuming that means that the monsters are going to get me. Because if there's one thing I know, the monster's always trying to get you. Do you need a voodoo doll, Shan? I got an extra.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you never know. Might be cool. I need to tuck a bed. Okie dokie. Did I... Is this still the Baron room? Yes. It's still the Baron room. Not the Baron room as in, nobility, but the Baron room as it doesn't have the one piece of furniture. It keeps saying add more furniture to get a second star. But I do not see said furniture. Let's take a look. I gotta go talk to the barrel. Yeah. Oh, wow. I found all the seeds that I had bought. Turns out that I bought them and then they all fell on the ground. I'm not very good at video games, Shan. I'm sorry. So we are on to the loot lottery. So even if I am jazzed to play with other people, even if I am in a battle and I'm in it to win it, and by the way, there's plenty of pickup raids. Saying I still play Star Wars: The Old Republic because it's cool. I like Star Wars, and you do too if you're cool. There's seasonal events basically that encourage you to do these world boss raids. And why they're fun is they are high speed and they're very goal oriented. And more importantly, there's no reason to do anything other than that during that time you're playing that. So it's kind of got the perfect storm of good co-op behavior. We have a goal. But more importantly, the goal is shared, and that's this loot lottery thing in a nutshell. So, if loot is not evenly distributed between everyone involved, you have a disparity. You have jealousy, instant jealousy. There is not even a millisecond of time between one jealousy and the other, and that makes sense, right? Like in the real world, we're not really sharing is like a kindergartner's thing, not like an adult's thing. And that's why they wrote a book called Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Which, by the way, one of my claim to fames, I'd never really bring this one up much, but I was in the first adaptation of Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. The first play adaptation, first stage adaptation. And that was cool. I did the one about the trees, screaming at the trees. In case you're wondering, I was the narrator for that. I was the spider in the one where you walk into a spider web, and then you have to think about what that must have felt like for the spider, which is, of course, one of the coolest things ever in that book. Anyways, very problematic book nowadays. Not problematic, but I'm going to say twee a little bit. We no longer live in a society where that kind of stuff's cool to talk about. So the loot lottery, right? Think about the last time you were in a group that didn't have equitable distribution of loot. Think about how you felt when someone else got screwed over by the random number generator. Because at some point, there is this tension between what is the game causing in terms of a loot and game disparity, and what is the players. So in some games, there's like a boss, and they accept everything, and then they distribute it, and they do that so that way there's a class structure, there's social structure in this game. However, you can immediately see the problem. It causes instant corruption. It's like being a prison guard, right? Like you may come in like, I'm going to do a job, and then you leave with, I'm a horrible person who has probably committed crimes. And the reason why is the job itself. It gives you tons of power with really no checks, and more importantly, no sense of why this power truly is at this level of intensity. So you get into these loot lotteries because the effort is imbalanced. It's the group project problem, right? Like some people don't fight as hard, and other people do. Sometimes players can have wildly different outcomes because of their skill level, or because of just how the game performed. If there was frames being dropped and they didn't see things. Holy crap. This is an army. Watch out, Shan. We got an army of people coming in. And then we've got area Thornfield. So the Thornfields are, of course, a real problematic group of people, because they are basically elves. And because of that, they were exiled from their lands because of, the elf bigotry that we all, know and love. And so, and that's why, by the way, they were walking by themselves. Exiles are not really the type of people to walk in with 6 other people. So someone puts in an effort, gets less than someone else just because of a lottery. Okay, that sucks. Sometimes, if you're quiet and don't ask for things, you don't get things. Well, that sucks too. It's like the smart kid in the school who is always too slow to speak up, and so has a different presentation to the rest of the class than probably what is warranted. And then finally, this creates a sense of extra grind, I guess is the right way to put it. And by extra grind, what I mean is now we have FOMO. Now we have these disparities that cause me to say, hey, this person over here gets cool thing A, and I get crappy thing B. Oh, we have cider now. I know you mentioned it. Woo! We live. Oh, lots. Look at all that XP. Do we know why some of this XP is lit up right now? Because Apple, Beer, and Boiled all have highlighted XP numbers, which is a thing. I guess. I guess because I've never seen it, and I've put like 5 hours into this game.
Oh, it's when it's starting to be diminishing return.
I see. And they make it glow for that? Calling Dr. UX. Yeah.
Yeah, because barley is still at 15 XP and
there could be a floor.
Special color.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say there's going to be a floor, but we knew that. Some score it's not going to have. My window is barely open, and there is Is there like a car parade? I've had sirens. I've had weird horns. It's just a night for that, I guess. All right, let's drive the... Okay, time to take the bingo card down. It is nice to see a group of people... Oh, I was going to say, we don't have apple pie, but it's one of those nobles. The Raven Shadows of Charlemagne Land. They're not cool. Let's just cut to the chase on that one. They're just not cool people.
They want 2 cupcakes, and now we can change the order. Now we need cupcakes.
Do we have... so we have the honey. I don't know what else goes into the baked bit. Oh, whoops. I almost grabbed something. No cakes for us. We have to work. So some of us get the dragon scales, right? That's the thing we came here to get. That's the cool loot that this specific mob has. But someone else got them. I got the dragon tail, which is only useful to sell to a merchant. So you can see how we have this sudden tension. I came here for the cool thing, and I have to not get it because oh, I grabbed cider, not juice. There's barrels on the ground. Mass hysteria. Was that me? Could have been me.
That was me.
Okay. Give me my self-disparaging moment. I'm just kidding. We need more boiled eggs. Look at that. We are the boiled eggs and booze place. This is exactly like some place in San Francisco. They have 2 things on the menu: 65 different beers and deviled eggs. I may be speaking from a little bit of experience on that one. Okay, we have to cook the water, which is a very delicate process. So I'll just say that bit again, so that way I'm at the same spot. So some of us get the dragon scales, right? The thing that we want. And some of us get the tail, which is the booby prize, right? It's the thing that has a use, but not what you came there for, right? It's like going to the store intending to buy pizza and then discovering that there's no pizza, but they do have fettuccine, which is, not what you're there for, and it's pizza adjacent, I guess, right? But that's about all you get for it. How is this supposed to work? Like, what is the expected UX? Or is it just... That's interesting. I just discovered you can just hold down and... Oh, wait, and it's smart enough to just fill things. Huh. I've discovered new quality of life. What was that?
You just discovered that now?
Yes, I'm not very good at video games. I think we have established that. Do as I say, not as I do when it comes to game design. So with this gear envy that you get from, and FOMO, because you were there for the dragon scales and instead you got the dragon tails, it just builds up this sense of, do I even want to bother being a squeaky wheel? And so this isolates you more and more from the game team. And so instead of being a team player that's getting, that recognition and getting what they expect, a musket, the mainstay of every bar is a musket behind the bar. So we're finally there, is what I'm saying. We finally achieved basic bardom. Basic bardom? Yeah, let's go with that. So it was time to slay a dragon. And that didn't work out so well for the person who wants to be the hero. And it's time to slay a dragon. And I didn't get any dragon scales. I just got dragon tails. But there's more. There's more. Because the loot lottery also gives rise to another issue, which is both obvious and not something most people think about. And that is skill and level disparity, which leads into the loot lottery, right? If you're really good at the game, or you're really high level, then you would expect better. and you don't get better because there's people you are carrying, and we're going to get into that. But if you are not playing with your same people at the same rate every night, you're going to fall behind in some very critical way. Depends on the game, of course. But in some critical and real way, you are starting to find yourself left behind. And that is a thing that snowballs. It's not a thing that gets better unless you play more than the people who left you behind, which is, weird, right? At this point, what are we doing? So because you start getting left behind, sometimes you literally get left behind. This raid is not for you. You're under-leveled. You're under-geared. Why would we bring you? We can only have 24 people in this raid. That's too few. We can't do it with you. So because of this, we... I'm just checking real quick if there's anything. Yeah, beer is now almost worthless. Boiled chicken eggs is down to 0 XP, by the way, Shan. So no more of that. It's off the menu. Even though, okay, let's leave it on the menu because we got a ton, but let's not make any more. Chicken soup, crucian soup, trout soup. We can't make any of those. Mushroom soup, though, we can. So let's...
Yeah, we no longer have boiled eggs. Or do you mean just cook them?
No, just keep the ones we already have and sell those.
Okay, well, we're out. So.
Oh, well then, hallelujah. We're out already? Okay, take it off the menu. No one will ever see it. It's our secret.
Yeah, I had to take a lot of stuff out of the menu. Yeah. Out of apple juice, lady.
Okay, I need emerald and azure.
Okay. Did you close?
No.
No.
I was doing dishes.
We should probably close.
Well, we got... Who is this? Oh! Lady Starling Genevieve. No one calls her that. Lady Starling is from Charlemagne Land. And from the borders, too. They're the worst. After the war with the Charlemagne Land people were not very nice to us, were they? We all remember. Some of us more than others. There will be revenge someday. Someday. Until then, we run bars, right? Right. So if you're underleveled, if you're getting left behind, you can see how that suddenly ruins co-op for you. It's just not fun anymore. Your team doesn't like you, and so therefore, what are you doing, right? Like, why are you even with these people anymore? They're busy juggling 10 balls, and you're stuck with whatever isn't 10 balls, 8 balls. So because of that, we also have the concept of carrying, which is both really cool and kind of demeaning. And the reason why it's kind of demeaning is you're doing all the worst stuff we're talking about, right? Like you're giving up your agency to be the hero. You're giving up your hope of getting the right loot, the right XP, because you're just being carried. People are just taking you along to do whatever you need to do, but also what they need to do. So Warframe is very famous for this, Infamous too, but generally it's got a good community, and so they'll help you if you explicitly tell them that you need help. If you don't, it's on you. And so Warframe, you will frequently need to be carried, or at least me, because I'm still relatively new. And so because of that, there's a new mentality you have to worry about. I guess worry about is the wrong word. You have to be aware of. And that mentality goes around... Okay, I was worried about this. There are now dirty laundry somewhere in this room. Or did it just get deleted? Does laundry not exist in this dimension anymore? Oh no.
But why do we have a washing machine then?
I know, right? Up is down, down is up. So what happened is I changed the linens, and because my inventory was full, I think they just went into Narnia. Normally they stack up, but I don't see where they are. And I definitely don't have... I definitely don't have it in my inventory. So, oh well. Linens are expensive. Just like in real life. I don't know why I'm carrying around a bunch of arrows for a crossbow, or even indeed a crossbow. So I now have some more space. crossbows were once made illegal? By religious magic. As in, you will get religious magic if you do use a crossbow. Why? A lot of you know this story. Because of voodoo dolls.
About Warframe.
No, I'm talking about real life. And the reason why, of course, is the nobility had a huge edge by their weapons, their armor, their training. It's very expensive and it takes forever to become a knight. And so for that reason, it was an elite group. And then all of a sudden you grab a guy from the field and you hand him a crossbow and you say, go shoot that person from 80 feet away. And they do. And it goes right through the armor and it kills the nobility. And they definitely couldn't have that. And so it was either a pope or an anti-pope. They had this kind of like archwizard versus archwizard thing going on back then. And one of those was like, hey friends, the billionaires who fund my campaign are pretty upset that they're getting murdered by, you know, Joe the plumber or whatever. And yeah, that led to the religious banning of crossbows. They were just too good for the common person. By the way, there were nations, or at least groups, there weren't nations back then, but there were groups that were like, whatever, we're going to definitely shoot people with arrows. And, you know, they didn't necessarily do better, but they definitely had cooler weapons. So because players can't level up at the same speed, real life, right? Like real life is already the answer to that. I have to work, you don't. So you can cat ass all day. Do we still use the term cat ass? I don't know. I always liked that term. Once I learned what it meant, I was like, oh, this is perfect. So my inventory, Shan, is filled with booze. I've got beer. I've got everything to run my own tavern. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and open up. And what if we go? Oh, we only have beer and apple juice on the menu, right?
So I'm looking for apple tree to make cider, but so far.
So I have some wine left. And some beer. So I'll at least put those back on the menu to get rid of them. Beer's already there. Wine. And then we will open. Or I'll open. I'll take care of that while you look for apples. The Alo Day Inn. Open for business. 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 What was that, Jen? I'm sorry.
It's also Spider Hour. So.
Oh, it is Spider Hour. I forgot. Let's put up the Chanel card. It's our guest star. If you go to my Cloud Yeller stream, and I'll be talking about that in a bit, then you'll see Chanel in the chat every day, every stream. We are chums. I'm sorry that I didn't put her card up before. We'll have to put up Ale and Bingo one more time. Oh no! I agree. Body Retro! Take that! Body Retro. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the comic Asterisk, which is about Gauls. I'll just say that and leave it. It's about Gauls. And my favorite thing about the Romans in that, because, you know, Gauls and Romans, they say Vade Retro all the time, and it becomes a running joke. It's one of my favorite running jokes. Vade Retro just means get back, basically. Do I have all the wine? No, okay. Hello, scary scarecrow person. We need to... Can I... Oh, I can sell the voodoo dolls. I'm going to sell voodoo dolls. We are voodoo doll rich, friends. We live in an empire of voodoo dolls. So let me take them all. Yeah, I don't know about any of these potions. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I do wonder what went into the dev's mind about let's make some voodoo dolls that can be left by visitors of the inn.
I would agree with you, but we have two flippin' owls running around. as our staff.
Yeah, but that's...
Oh. I continued to do the wrong thing. I really do think... Oh, that's right. We can put dishes in the bedrooms. I mean, I'm trying to think of what the use case for that is. I'm assuming that if we have like a beer only, we can have these in here for our guests. But who knows? I'm turning the beds, as they say. Where are we on topics? So leveling up again. So because I have a life and you don't, say, because my kid's screaming and so I can't focus on the game as much as you, because another voodoo doll. Someone is definitely saying something at this point. So because of all these things, there is immediately a imbalance to the players. Even if they're the same level, even if they're roughly the same in the game, there still is an imbalance. One person is putting in more time. They probably have more stuff to back them up if they lose things. They may have backup gear like in EverQuest when you needed that. That's better than just crap gear, etc., etc., etc. Because of this disparity, you just run into a basic imbalance, and that causes the co-op to suffer in the ways we've discussed before. So the way to think about it, especially if you're being carried. So in Warframe, to get back to that real quick, you can ask for that, and you do ask for that. You say, hey, can I get a carry? And it's not shameful, because I talked about that. Generally, they're pretty cool. I gotta talk to the barrel, and that guy always senses me first. Sorry, I have to look at my notes to get there. So because you can't level up, because you have this life that is different, and because there's just a difference in experience level, some people are left behind. And so while there are games that are cool, like Warframe, where you can say, can I get a carry? And no one sits there and says, what the hell, noob? This game's only been out for 16 years, which is true. And by the way, they invent an entirely new game about every 3 years. It's absurd. They just came out with Warframe 1999, which is very, very different than the last one they did, which was a straight-up open-world adventure in a fantasy realm. Like they know their business. But because of that, carrying is kind of required. There's so much content. I was talking to Shan today about how there's this cool like spaceship system where you can have like up to 4 players with you, and you fly around, and then you board enemy ships and you take them over from within. It's really cool, but no one plays it because you don't have the gear and loot throughput that you would want, and so everyone just does the same levels over and over and over again. That's a completely different game balance issue that I'm definitely not going to get into right now. Now then, if our catchphrase for the last one is some of us get dragon scales and some of us get dragon tails, I don't have as a pithy one for this one, but I do have, you can't spell co-op without compromise, and sometimes carry. And BRB for dinner is probably the best crystallizing moment for Level Up Left Behind. If you stop playing, then you come back and someone's like, well, I just finished this entire quest line and the dungeon, and I'm 4 levels higher than you now. Just because you paused. That crystallizes this whole Left Up, Left Behind. It makes the game not fun. It drives a wedge between you and this person you're playing with. And that is no bueno. So we're on the last topic, the curse of coordination. I wake up in the morning. When do I play video games? And the answer is whenever the hell I want to. I mean, I have a job, and I don't with PieTrap, where we are. So it's not like that. But if I want to play a game and I want to play a specific game, I just go and do that thing. Why? Because I am not playing with other people. I am not bound or trapped with my own desires, right? Like if I wake up in the morning and want to play Dyson Sphere Program for 6 hours, I'm not really meaningfully doing anything other than, having fun myself. There is no point in which those 6 hours have anything to do with another player. But the second I wake up in the morning and I think it's time to slay the dragon at 7 p.m. tonight, sharp, or you don't get to be in the raid. Oh, and by the way, you have to bring your backup gear this time, Sojourner, or else we're not going to let you into the raid. And oh my gosh, you are under geared. You need to go get better gear after this raid. So suddenly, you have all these pressures on you, but you also heard at the very beginning, time. You have to be part of this team to a degree that you are making it a literal job. People say that all the time. Oh, this game's like a second job. It is a second job for sure if you're having to schedule time to do your job in it. And so this is the curse. This is literally the curse of coordination, because your time is no longer your own. If they run that raid at 8 p.m. sharp, now sometimes people can go, oh, wait for me because I'm an important and trusted person, and they'll wait a little bit. And sometimes they'll wait a lot. But what happens when they wait a lot? Suddenly you feel bad for making them wait, and they feel bad because they had other plans. Again, the curse of co-op. Okay, I didn't know if I had any sheets. Oh wow, look at this. It's a wasteland of people needing drinks. Do we not have any apple juice? Because we have 4 people looking for apple juice.
It's ready, yeah, but I need a barrel. I have it.
Okay.
Barrel.
Barrel me. Fire me, son. I'm not on the channel where I can do obscure 80s and 90s movie references. Fire me, boy. Why won't you fire me, boy? It's the human bullet from Tick. Don't be weird. The things we level up into. Now we can make bourbon. Why? We don't know. How? We don't know. That's really... Why is not the question.
Whiskey.
I'm sorry?
We don't even do whiskey.
Yeah, I don't even drink whiskey. If you don't drink what you don't serve. I'm just kidding. I know a lot of teetotalers who brew beer. A lot of them. That is definitely a thing. Okay, I'm helping minorly. I'm helping. Do we have do I have mugs? No. Let's go get some mugs. Now I have all the mugs. Who wants apple juice? You. Deal them out like cards, friends. Apple juice. Super hot. The whole year after that game came out, I was saying that. Super hot. Which is not, it's just, there's no point at which that's cool. Just so you know. This isn't a thing where I'm like, listen to this cool thing I did, guys. No, quite the opposite. So, if I have to look at a calendar and my watch to play and enjoy the game, perhaps that is a real problem. And that is the last danger of co-op. And I would say the big one, right? Like, this is the thing. This is the thing that makes people sad. This is the thing that makes people not have fun. And it's because of the requirement for coordination. And not just a requirement, like a live or die, life or death, if you do not coordinate properly. So if your fun is held hostage by a calendar, then there are people who do enjoy that. And I mean enjoy that. Not like, some people really need that certainty of a calendar, that validation that I woke up today and I know exactly what I'm going to do with my life. But for the vast majority of people, vast majority of people, that is not how you feel. You feel like there's too many hands on my time, too many feelings, too many things on my mind. Fine, I'll throw in a Rush reference. I used to do China Miaville. I'm going super easy on you. Though I am going to warn you, Ian Banks is next. You're going to get Ian Banks references, and you can't stop me. I'm a criminal who cannot be stopped when it comes to Ian Banks references. Get out of here, lady. Let me go take your soiled stuff out. So, in the end, if you are on a calendar, then you are no longer fighting monsters. You're not even remotely the hero, right? Because you are fighting a calendar instead. You're fighting time. And as most of you know who has listened to me talk about video game design, time is the only and main currency. Period. Full stop. Time. You are giving up seconds of your life, your only life, the only life you will ever have, to play this game. Or I always say this on Twitch because you're also giving up the only life you have to watch someone else do this. But watching entertainment is incredibly valid and good for your brain, so don't worry about it. But that does kind of beg the question, doesn't it? I'm gonna do some more mushroom soup because we have all the mushrooms still. But it does beg the question, which is, there was a question that was begged. I'm sorry, I dropped my notes and all of a sudden I have no idea. What day is it? What year is it? I was talking about calendars. So, time is incredibly subjective. You all know that. You thought I was going to do simulations again. Nope. Time is incredibly subjective. Insanely subjective. We all know this. And there's been tons and tons and tons of research on things like reaction time and stuff like that. And we are absolutely certain about a lot of things that are very counterfactual to what you would think. For instance, that our subconscious mind is so powerful that, things happen before we think that they're going to happen. Like your body's already moving. Stuff like that. We have a lot of it. Our conscious mind is really not in charge. It's an explainer. It has executive rights, but it's just an explainer. You're going through your life, and it's like, why the hell did I get drunk and drive my car, right? Like, it's your responsibility, and you need to explain this to yourself, and before you explain it to a cop, right? This is what the executive portion of your brain does. It handles the business of who I am, and explains it all to itself, so that way it can explain it to others. There's that theory for today. So with this calendar requirement, with this hostage taking of your life, with this calendar, your only life, you are spending a new currency, and I already said what it is, which is your time. So in addition to all the unfairness, in addition to all the uncertainty, in addition to all the power disparity, you also have frustration of your time, your life being taken away from you. And like I said, this is incredibly subjective. And the reason why is you've been in a car crash, right? Everyone's been in a car crash. Remember how time slows down. You've been watching someone get hurt and time seems to speed up. You've been in a fight yourself. I hope none of you have. But you may feel like everything's slowed down, and you can ponder what's happening. And then some people, it's the other way around, that they can't keep track of things, and you shouldn't be in fights anyway, even if you're no good at them. I see. I need to get some water. I thought I had a dirty plate. I do. Okay. I suddenly have 8 mugs. So I'm going to fill up some mugs again. A little bit of everything. Carrot juice, and some cider, and some beer, and some wine, and some beer, and some apple juice. This is, we got quite the variety going on here. If you're trying to do everything, Shan, we're going to be out of beer and cider next.
Yeah, it's no go on ciders because we need apples, which we don't have.
Apple, falling in the water. Sorry. It's one of my morning songs I sing to the birds. I'm sure Shan appreciates me suddenly singing on this channel. And if you think it's weird that I sing to birds in the morning, you have not heard half of what I do. And all of it's, by the way, at that level of weirdness. Don't be weird. 2 fried trout. Storm Riders. By the way, they're a family of drunks. I'm going to start by saying that. But they're very rich drunks. And they have been known to pawn bits of their armor for a drink. So it would have been nice if we could have gotten some of that goodness out of him. But sadly, we're in no trout place. We are anti-pescatarian. You've heard of pescatarians? We are anti-pescatarian. We hunt fish only for the purpose of making sure no one ever eats them. I'm carrying a ton of drinks with me, and no one wants any of the ones I'm carrying. Hey, back, you fool. So the Thornfields, they're originally from Charlemagne land, like a lot of people in this region, but they were exiled as some of the petit nobilité that you may have heard of. Oh, we're into fried potatoes now.
There.
Listen here, fancy person. Do you think our customers can handle these things? I don't think so. And because, of course, we're out of room, I'm now carrying around 2 fried potatoes. These are not like spiced potatoes, Somnumia, just so you know. All right, to land the curse of coordination, to land it. If you're not fighting a monster, but instead you're fighting a schedule, then at no point are you doing any of the things you're imagining. And so often I'll say when we're developing a game that there's 2 games that the player is playing. There's the game that they think they're playing, and then there's the game that they're really playing. And a great example of this is mobile games, right? So in mobile games, you sit there and you're like, I'm going to attack people and I'm going to have all these fights and stuff. But if you actually track how much time you spend on things, the vast majority of your time is spent building your infrastructure, harvesting things, clicking on this, clicking on that. And so for that reason, it's a game that you're not playing anymore. You're not playing that game, you're playing something else. What is a barley and corn wash? I guess I can look at a menu or a recipe. Okay, so the bourbon requires corn wash, which requires corn wort, corn, water bucket, and water bucket, okay. Cider, of course, is very straightforward. But I have barley wort, so I might as well just make some beer. And then we can move on to bourbon. Is that how bourbon is made? I feel like that is not how bourbon is made. So syncing calendars, by the way, carries its own weird stress. In addition to all these other stresses, all these other things on your mind, there is also this sense of, when do I become the master? So generally when you play a game, you play it as much as you would like, or as you are capable of doing. And when you do so, you gain what's called mastery. And mastery is just your ability to play the game, your ability to understand the mechanics, your ability to play them quickly, slowly, whatever. And mastery is a big deal. That's what you want from your players, is to finally achieve mastery. Which, by the way, gets rid of them. You no longer have that player once they become a master. Or at least for the vast majority of games. There's always that game or two out there where people play long after they finish the content. But not very often. I mean, that's not, like, unless you design your game for that sort of longevity, it's not something that's going to organically happen. So when we design in these sort of timers, when we design in these sort of things, we start to create this asynchronous loop with the player's life. And if it's a single player thing, it's one thing you're doing by yourself, then you can at least keep that asynchronous loop kind of firewalled off to that player. You're asking them to do 20 taps in order to achieve some goal in the game, and you're asking them to wait for 5 timers, some of which are in hours, some of which are in seconds. They're doing all these things. Their life is suddenly asynchronous. There was a time when I played, was it Game of War? I think it was Game of War, pretty competitively. And in that I was doing things like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do a fight. Because why? Because my opponent was not up at 3 o'clock in the flippin' morning, so they wouldn't be able to defend themselves. That's actually super common in this genre. And so, so because of that, we have the obvious problem there, which is I definitely wasn't living the life that I was expecting to. I was living the life that this game told me I must have. And that's no good. That's not cool. No one likes that. That's not the kind of business we want to get into. That does not fit into our business, is what I'm saying here. Sorry, I'm trying to fix a few things. So I'm sorry with the chat. I haven't been hearing the dinglings. Hello, Ministress. And Somnia Mia. Good. I'm glad you're there, because I thought you might want some of those spiced potatoes. A lot of people like spiced potatoes. I know a whole place where everyone likes spiced potatoes. Yipes. Okay, we need to get serving some stuff. That's more me to me. Oh no! Zombies! I have a sword. And we leveled up. I don't think that there's a correlation, but I'm going to decide there is. And there's always the one person who's like, whatever. Can I have my cider? Oh, that's because you're an important person.
Oh.
Are you okay out there?
save the chickens from the zombie.
They'll fight the zombie?
No, I saved the chicken from a zombie.
That's what I was asking. The zombies will go after them?
I don't think so, but
You just,
I like to
you
make
just,
things better.
that's right. You save them from the horrors of having to even look at a zombie. Good job. I'm glad you did that. Customers are all like, could you move the zombie? No. No, we cannot move the zombie. That person's carousing. The Wind Riders, family of drunks. Just straight up saying it. Okay. Well, before we go, I mean, it's going to be a few minutes. But before we go, I do want to cover one other thing, which is the connection of the Curse of Coordination with thinking about things like running a museum. That's a great example. I worked for 4 museums, and I kind of know a little bit of the museum life. Museum life didn't choose me. I chose it because I needed a job, and I'd been a museum person before. But jokes aside, there was a lot of weird coordination you had to do with other people in the course of being a part of a museum. I was basically a stage performer of science stuff, and so for that reason, I had to be on a very strict schedule. But I also had, other museum duties to do. Like, for instance, I was the supervisor, so I also had to go do supervisor things. Now, this turned my life into a very, very strict schedule, because if my show went over, then I wouldn't be able to do my supervisory stuff, right? Like, I'm not doing that anymore. And so it kind of snowballs. And so my life was on this ridiculous, and it was a ridiculous schedule when I was at work. And there were days when I do 5 or 6 shows, and by the way, doing shows was like the ultimate, that's what you're there for. So I would do 5 or 6 shows, but then, the sort of stuff that I have to do as a supervisor, a big one being, by the way, calming children and calming parents who think they've lost their children. That's the 2 main things you do as a supervisor. You also do a bunch of stuff with the staff, but really it's about the kids. It's always about the kids. But because my life was so tightly constrained by my work, I did a thing. Now, the company never wanted me to do this. In fact, I was asked not to, but then it became a thing that everyone loved, so we did it. So I had a child. You're welcome. And when they were a baby, I would take them to work in a little baby Bjorn, because that's what we had back then. I keep looking at them like I have wine mugs. I do not have wine mugs. I don't even have mugs. Wine. Oh, the one who wants carrot juice is the one I went to first, of course. Okay, we need 2 carrot juices. Order up.
Are you doing something with the fermenter?
No. Was I?
Because it shows waste.
Let me take a look real quick. There's a grape juice barrel on the ground. That's what you're asking. Oh, it's because I was starting a beer. Let's just finish the beer real quick. I need hops.
But beer doesn't give us anything.
I know, but I'd started
But
it. Yeah. Let's just let it cook for a sec. You never know when suddenly you need some beer. I've been a camper. I know how that works. So we still don't have any carrot juice on the table. Money doesn't put fish on the table. Fish puts fish on the table. I should have put that one on the bingo card. So because I was in this weird state, there's whole swaths of my child's first year being brought to work that I just don't remember. Why? Because I was working on this tight schedule. And by the way, when I did my shows, the kid was not, don't be weird. The kid was not like, abandoned, and they weren't on my chest for my fire show or anything like that. So like I said, don't be weird. But the rest of the time, the kid was with me, and people liked it. By the way, nothing de-escalates an angry parent faster than having a baby on your chest. It works like such a flippin' charm. I don't know why more people don't wear a baby around when they go do things. People will be nicer to you. People will talk to you, and they won't be weird because you all have the same topic. So it's not like you have to worry about what are we going to talk about. Just carrying a baby, if you're going to have a baby situation, you want to like be loud and proud about that baby situation.
Where is my grape barrel?
Maybe in my inventory? Oh no, I put it up on the rack.
Ah, for grape juice, okay.
Yeah,
So
well, I don't think we need grape juice. You can just take it off. Though we're low on everything. I'm gonna close. The tavern. Boop. So why are there chickens? Is this like a why is Gamora type thing? I'll let you cogitate on that one, Ministress. So because you're not fighting monsters, you're syncing calendars. This is like the bottom level of what I was talking about with you live on a schedule. Because nothing is more fun than scheduling a meeting and making sure everyone's at the meeting and making sure that everyone's prepared for the meeting and making sure that everyone has reasons to be at the meeting for their particular role. I think you get what I'm saying. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down here. We've just taken the worst parts of a job and made it central to the player's gameplay. I mean, that's beyond crappy. That's beyond crappy. That is a level of crappy that is exceptionally crappy. So don't do that. Don't play games like that. So if you're fighting a calendar, if you're trying to schedule a dragon run between laundry and bedtime because your kids only go to sleep at 9 and then you fall unconscious at 11, which, by the way, is a thing that I have known for over a decade, is people who do exactly that. They have to schedule their gaming time between putting kids to bed and doing chores. Let me talk to the barrel real quick. Yeah, it's terrible. It's literally terrible. Not figuratively, but literally terrible. I am going to buy... I mean, we have all this money. Can we open a second tavern? All right. I could buy a musket, but I already got this crossbow, which I've never fired. Because, what the hell? Don't go around killing things. What kind of weirdo are you?
At some point you should probably do the quest also.
Oh, quests. Well, we got the royal delivery. Do we have any raw potatoes?
Raw potatoes?
That are not made into food potatoes?
I think I have some. 10, yeah. How many do we need?
20.
Yeah. I can plant more.
Oh wait, I forgot what I was doing here. Quests. I need to sell the potion and bring some food. What does any of that mean? That's the problem. So I have a real problem with a lot of the quests here, and this is one of them. Like, yes, I did a thing, and if I was continuously playing, I would know exactly what was going on here. But I no longer know what this potion is that I have to sell. So I do remember there being a questy potion somewhere in here. So I'm assuming that that's what it is. But I gotta find it. And that's where I normally put this stuff, so probably it's back here. There it is. Let's see if selling this potion gets us what we want.
In other news, talking about game design, wargaming is not as easy as it sounds.
No, it is not. It is, sometimes I wonder. But thank you. Thank you. Okay, I need to bring barley porridge and an ale mug. This is like very, very early game stuff. I'll try and... yuck. Barley porridge and an ale mug. It's been a long time since we've had ale. Chanel. Boom! Extra points. Boom!
Chanel.
Chanel. Sorry. I don't speak fantasy as well as I used to.
We should have a chest with a few food items that are not on the menu, I guess, for quests and
Yeah.
for the royals.
That is a very wise thing. I'm dealing with this terrifying scarecrow right now. He follows you with his eyes. This is terrifying. Ha-ha!
How about growing some magic weed?
And it doesn't help that he's a flippin' stoner, and they're not even hiding it. They're not even saying, ha-ha, he's a stoner. No, they're like, I desperately want to have weed, and yet you won't let me. Which, it's illegal, though. We strictly said it was illegal here. It's one of those fantasy kingdoms. Alright, so it's time for us to land this plane. And in order to do that, if this entire theme of this thing was you don't get to be who you want to be, and you don't get to play how you want to play, and you don't get to play when you want to play, how do you get to be a hero anyway? And play co-op. You could be a hero just by playing a single-player game. But if you want to be a hero, I'm going to not do that quest right now because I would rather kill specified creatures. No, I'm just kidding. I will clean the forest from evil, which means I need to grab those crossbow bolts. I just want to shooty things. I'm not ashamed of saying it. Alright, so we need to do a quest. So we're going to land this plane by talking about how you can be a hero. So if all these things keep you from being a hero, how do you become a hero anyway? I'll tell you how not to be. I feel like that was wasteful. It will be interesting. Is this one of the... It's not one of those games where you can pick up spent bolts. So how do you get to be a hero in these circumstances, in a co-op setting? Well, we're playing a game that gets us most of the way there. In order to be a hero, you have to have agency. In order to be a hero, you have to feel like you're affecting the world. If you want to be a hero, you have to feel like you're appropriately challenged. And to be a hero, you have to feel like you're being recompensed for your time. So these are the things, and I didn't even read that off a list. That's just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's a couple more. But these are the critical things, right? Like, these are the things that make you want to do it. And, okay, there's a nest of evil over there. Finally information. So I listed those off so that way you can see that you get none of those things in the scenarios I'm talking about. None of them. And so we have to decide how do we split the desire of the player to be a hero and the co-op setting, which is players playing together and players having to give and take from their own desires to, be a team. So number one, let's use Alien Tale as an example. This is a very good co-op game for a very obvious reason. We don't need to be doing things at the same time. Asymmetry is okay. And remember, there was all these symmetries we needed. Are we the same level? Are we the same skill level? Are we geared the same? Doesn't matter in a game like this. Shan is at a completely different place in her quest line on her server of this than I am. And she hasn't seen some of the stuff I have, and that's fine. As you can see, she's doing a better job of running this place than I am. So this asymmetry isn't terrible here as it would be if you're doing raids in WoW, or even worse in EverQuest. I just looked at my health. Oh no! I've made terrible decisions. This is not going to go well. I regret things. At least I know how to block now. I didn't know I was playing Dark Souls. Die! Okay, let's get some food and solve this problem. Oh, there's wolf fangs. And I have all the things. Did you grab the fangs? They're kind of weirdly on the ground. Thank you. I still have no health. I'm going to go dry. Because all I have is booze on me. I tried to prepare myself properly. And there's a boar over here that we should probably hunt.
I have 34 HP.
Okay, I have 22. Let's...
Courage.
yeah, the boar can abide. So this game is good. Please go ahead.
Yeah, you were mentioning that when we do play co-op here, it's well done because the money is shared. We can interact in the same fashion in all aspects of the tavern or even the quests. And you are correct that I'm getting achievement for stuff that we do as a co-op, which is nice. But that also removes from me a bit of the incentive to continue on by myself.
Yes.
On my map.
Yes. So, let's touch on one of the things that Chanel said, which is you heard that even though we have a pretty good co-op game with shared things that are easy to share and progress that is easy to share, there is still that little bit of the poison in the pleasure, right? So even though we're having fun, or at least I'm having fun, I hope you're having fun, Shan.
Yay.
But even without that, okay, I thought I had some dirty laundry, and I should probably not be walking around with a loaded crossbow. I think that gives off the wrong message about this tavern, or maybe the right one. Let me make sure. I'm lost in my notes again. Okay, so the asymmetry comes with the ability to express. And it's not necessarily like this deep expression, but at least you can do things your way with your own vibe. And that makes it yours. So you can express yourself. You can have choices. And the choices are not tied to making sure other players are having fun. And they're not tied to being on someone else's schedule. And they're not tied to all the things that make co-op painful. So these are things you want, you desire for. And, oh wow, lots of dirty sheets. You've all been naughty sheet people. So because of all these things, this game gives us that with the asymmetry. Oh, look at that. That's going to be helpful. Thank you, Chanel. Speaking of agency. And by that, sorry, that wasn't meant to be like a mean joke. That was like literally, this is another way that a player who hasn't been part of this server the whole time can still contribute, and contribute strongly. Because it ain't enough to just contribute. It's you gotta contribute on a level that helps people, like is acknowledgeable as helpful. Maybe not acknowledged as helpful. That's another thing to talk about. And another stream, by the way, not today. We've covered all the things today, so I don't want to. When it comes to co-op, I don't want to really get it too much more twisted. Whatever this is, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it right now. I'm going to put it in my mouth. Oh wow, that gives me a lot of hit points. Who knew? Fried potatoes. Delicious. Probably those spiced potatoes would be better. And what's nice is you can eat them raw, or you can eat them with nothing on them. No cooking at all on them. It's just some of the cool things about these. We have a buffet of booze. Come, help yourself. From 0% APV to 1% ABV beverages. Oh wait, didn't I need an ale for that one quest? I do believe I did. Barley. Okay, I'm going to grab this ale. And did we just happen to make some barley soup? I don't think we did, but let me make some barley soup. Or barley porridge, as they call it here in the continent. We barely have any barley now, which is weird because we had a lot of barley once, but now we're barely barley with our boon in our business. You know, oh man, last week I wrote that alliteration with 7 B's in it, and I don't have it in front of me anymore. Because that's definitely not something I'm going to memorize. What kind of weirdo do you think I am?
That's pretty cool. Only 4 followers needed for Pytrap to hit 200. Yay!
Yay! Right on. Hey, Pri. Good to see you. We'll do our best. I brought you Uglervisk. Oh, ministers, the IRL ads? Yeah. right, let me take down the bingo card again. I'm sorry. I keep putting it up for too long. No one's gotten bingo. But I've definitely said the things to get you bingo. So that's on you. I mean, a lot of things are probably on you. Okay, so Shan brought up a lot of things that come with the asymmetry, solo expression, and choice. And also had that little bit of poison in it that she's missing out on some of the joy of discovery. Because of that, because of our lockstep sharing, which is generally only an upside. So we have no dishes. And I need just one dish for the... Oh, well, I have some dirty ones. Okay. I'll do dishes. No problem. 1 apple. The only thing we can make with 1 apple is lunch. Okay, so what's an example of a game that is a co-op game that has asymmetry, solo expression, and choice? Rhetorical, by the way. I know people are going to jump in and go, that is true. I wasn't going to do that work for you, though, Ministress, about the bingo card. This is an exercise for the viewer. But that is cool. You know, I'm thinking about some of the scripts. Because I've started writing scripts on, I never get the name right. I always want to call it Rocket, but it's Firebot. Firebot. And so I could potentially do that, Mistress. Let's do baby steps. I got to do commercial voting first, and end theme song genre voting. Once we get the voting going, we can start looking at highly technological things like marking off a bingo card. And to be honest, I don't remember what's on that bingo card anyway. I'm just saying the things I always say, like Vade Retro, and I put them on the card because I know I always say them. It fits into my business. Deep Rock Galactic was the one I was going to bring up. Why? Because it doesn't matter how good you are. It does, but the game is built upon some extreme co-op to the degree that everyone's already giving each other a hand up, even if they are very good. So it doesn't truly matter if you're an expert at it. And the other part of it is there are specialized roles. You don't have to have all the character classes, but if you do, you definitely have a different... I wouldn't say better, because I've played solo, a lot of solo Deep Rock Galactic, though it's not really what the game's about. But you can have a very, very similar and successful experience with 2, with 3, with 4. It's not really the amount of juice, it's just that you're having juice. So Deep Rock Galactic is great for that. Asymmetry, solo expression, and choice. And you also have the best parts. With those 3 things, you also have the best parts of group play. They discovered, or they were geniuses, or they weren't geniuses. I don't know what the relationship is. But they put in this thing where you can ping something in the game so other people can see it, and you could say, "We're rich!" And you do that for gold. And the joke there, the bit of community is... everyone just starts saying we're rich as fast as they can. And that's a great moment of camaraderie, and it's great to bring the players together, and it has nothing to do with the pressure cooker. It has nothing to do with having to coordinate perfectly. It doesn't have anything to do with being leveled up and left behind. It doesn't have anything to do with the loot lottery. It doesn't have anything to do with the disappearing hero. I heard a doodly-doo.
Hey,
Greetings, Lulong. Hey, how you doing? This time I won't pretend. Hang on, I want to address what Artipri said next. Nice. I just want to say, hey, Lulong, I'm glad you joined us. Followed me from the darkness. Pri, you are talking about a great one, Left 4 Dead, because you can not truly carry the team, but you can still express yourself in some ways. But I would definitely put Left 4 Dead into the not perfectly coordinated side. So what's another game? What's another game that would allow us to kind of nail that down a little bit better? Weird. I deleted it. So if you want to look at games that respect individuality. Oh, nope, it's up here further. Ha 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 ha. No, it's not. This is the first time I lost myself in my notes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I found it. I
Yes.
found it. I found it. Found it. Pressure cooker. I found it. Schedule person. Just kidding. All right. So we're talking about how to be a hero anyway. And Pre brought up a great one about Left 4 Dead, which has... It kind of straddles this line, but it is so much of a team game that it is a rise or fall of the group. People can carry. I used to carry. But it's not the traditional type of carrying. It's not the like MMO carrying or the like a Destiny or a Overwatch carrying. It's a very unpleasant carrying. And so you can look at, say, Monster Hunter, for example. Solo worthy, group worthy. It's just got it all. Why? Because it has that asymmetry, that solo expression, and the ability for you to make real choices and not just, I'm going to go over here and do the thing. Now, the second piece is going to sound super obvious, but I'm going to say it. Find people to play with in co-op who respect you and respect your pace and respect your play style and are willing to bend and twist, not because of the schedule, not because of the other things, but because they genuinely like playing this with you and they genuinely enjoy helping you and they genuinely enjoy what you bring to the table. Find those people, and then you will have a better co-op experience. A lot of sins are forgiven in co-op if you find the right team. The big part of it, by the way, is the pacing. It just is the pacing. Players working at different paces. We talked about that a lot. Oh wow, I think that's the thing I have to destroy.
If I may
Yes.
interject, shouldn't we also... So are we talking about co-op as a whole social thing instead of specifically co-op games, as like Tale Tavern is a true co-op,
Mm-hmm.
whereas World of Warcraft is multiplayer.
I see what you're
So
saying.
Yes, there's a bit of a distinction, I think. But maybe not that much, but because I would imagine that co-op you would play with your friends, because who would want to invite people they don't know?
Well, happens more
Whereas-
often than you think.
I guess so, yeah. That's why we have so many Discord servers
Mm-hmm.
for every game now.
Yes.
So there's that. Some people are more confident in playing with people they don't know. Some people are like, I've done this, I've regretted it, I'm
Mhm.
never gonna do it again.
Pick up
Whereas
games
in
from
an
hell.
MMO, yeah, you don't really have a choice, I guess. Especially with the new type of dungeons where it's like, enter here and we will group you with people who need to do the same quest as you.
Yeah, that's less and less. I'm cooperating, and it's more and more that I'm trying to endure these other people. So let me land the plane because we're past time. And by the way, thank you for saying that, because that allows me to segue into the last bit, which is you want your impact to be felt. That's good co-op, even if you're in a crowd. City of Heroes weirdly did that because they had this thing where everyone was put into a special leveling system when certain things happened. So everyone was the same level during major events. So everyone was able to impact things. Now, people with higher levels had more abilities to use, but the amount of damage everyone did was the same. So a level 1 player in these large events could have the impact of a higher level player. And since this was a group thing, this was explicitly a crowd thing that happened infrequently, everyone was into that, right? Like everyone was okay with there being a level playing field. And so that would be an example of a co-op game where your impact was felt. Now, obviously that was an MMO and it had other agendas, but yeah. So to tie this up, a good co-op game that avoids all the dangers we said, allow you to play at your own pace and still have an impact, allow you to work together with other players without differences in skill level and and play style mattering, right? And that's not even inclusivity, but it is inclusivity as well. Inclusivity is such an, it's like gravity when you think about cooperation. And by that, I don't mean inclusivity in like the more narrow terms. I mean it as the general term of, what's the word I'm looking for? Tolerating and celebrating those who have different play style, tolerating and celebrating those who bring different things to the table, and even, you know, perhaps talk about things differently. So to finish landing the plane, with the asymmetry, solo expression, choices, your pace, your play style, and your impact is felt. The good side. So we talked about the evils this whole time. We talked about the stresses and the frustration, being on a schedule, not being able to play how you want, having to do what other people wanted, and you might not even get the loot. You still have these options. You still have these games, like this one, that allow... Oh, I do this every time. That allow you to have that personal expression that we're looking for. And still having the fun, being the hero. And so the last thought I'll give you before I open it up for questions and then we do closing ceremonies is being a hero. You can tell when I like wrote something down specifically. Being a hero in a co-op game isn't about being the loudest or the strongest. It's about finding a way to matter in all that noise, all that chaos that's going on. So we frequently, and I talked about it several times in here, like the strongest, the loudest, the person who doesn't ask for loot, doesn't get loot, etc., etc., etc. This is all true. But a good co-op game, being a hero of a co-op game, involves you having the ability to not be the loudest, having the ability not to be the strongest, and having the ability to matter anyway. And that, my friends, is about the dangers of co-op. And that completes our 2-week cycle of what is co-op and these are the dangers of co-op. Because this was kind of a meaty, like more of a school lecture type topic, I would like to complete that metaphor by having people have like 5 minutes or so to ask questions or comment on things, talk about, you know, the new jewelry you bought, perhaps the case with all the satellites doing stuff. Oh, those are orcs. We don't like that. They're faster than me too. Boy, are they lively. This is going to be bad. Don't forget you can block. There's 4 of them now? Okay, one of them leashed. Come on, leash, guys. Leash. Well, don't aggro them again. I'll check for questions in a second. I'm fighting orcs. Oh, that's right. They have a kick also. Watch out behind you. I'm getting wrecked by those kicks. That's not fair that they get to block, too. Trying to get the one you're getting. Talk about co-op. Glad my camera isn't on. I'm all twisting and turning. Okay, I'm down to 20.
29.
Boy, I sure am glad I aggroed all these people. Oh, I'm dead. And when you die, you're dead. All right, let's respawn, and I'm going to definitely do the closing ceremony. So let's just check for questions. All right, Ministress, I can appreciate and enjoy that thing. So, okay, so pre-ask the right question. Common designs that end up encouraging toxicity in co-op games. So one of the biggest ones is that thing I talked about at the very, very, very beginning of you're the disappearing hero, right? So a common design that encourages toxicity is one that takes away your ability to be the hero. And being the hero is not like the single person, though that's what we would ideally do. It's that your role is critical, that you matter when you do things. And so the toxicity comes with a lot of these shotgun approaches. For instance, Ministers talked about force grouping, so I'm going to leave that one. But another one of them is you are required to do X content, and you can only do it with people who also can do X content. So this prevents me from even getting to play with my friends unless I like work in this total lockstep with them. Instead, the bad pattern here is now I'm looking for just randos. So this is in the game The Division, where you would go into these instances and it wasn't anyone you knew. In fact, you couldn't have anyone you knew. It was just random people that happened to be on the same quest. And so that was terrible, right? Like that was the worst possible co-op game experience. So that's one pre. And then another one, just to come out of left field, is the disparity of loot is still a problem. Like it's not as bad as it was in the old EverQuest days, where like people would go and do a raid for 6 hours and get nothing. But it is still there in several ways, and one of them is that most games now give equivalent loot when you play. And so like instant loot. So we kill a monster and I see a sword on them and they see a sword on it and they're different swords, right? We both get a sword. Or I see gold and they see, lasers. So that's great, but that takes away the shared sense, and it does suddenly invite a new form of toxicity, which is, why didn't I get the good thing? What have you done to prevent me from having fun? How dare I get this thing, which was RNG, by the way, because when I played with you, it was harder, or when I played with you, we went through it too fast. So the player starts to make up things in their head about why their experience was what it was, and it was because of these things. The game didn't do the job of making these things fun for the player. They didn't give us the way to give us the loot in a way that felt truly equitable. So those are two. I feel bad about the whole ad thing now that I'm setting them up for my channel. What was I going to say? Or is this from the ad? Has the ad become more interesting than Sojourner? Because I am willing to accept that. Oh, no, you don't get to know. I think well, who doesn't love? I go to Grocery Outlet Bargain Market literally once a week, and sometimes twice a week. It helps that it's within walking distance, but that's where the pizza comes from. The cheap, delicious pizza. All right, let's land this plane. I see the time. Ooh, McDonald's. Quick story there. I think I should have left the since we're landing the plane. I'll put up the bingo one more time, because I'm definitely going to do one from the bingo thing. So when I was in college for geology, I was dating someone. You're allowed as a geologist. Actually, geology was it was so gender balanced of all the sciences at that university that we actually were more than 50-50. We were 60-40 female geologists to male geologists. So I dated. I got to date a couple times. And the person I ended up being with, in my future, we didn't have any money. I was working 3 jobs, not joking. I was working 3 jobs to stay in school, and she didn't have a job, and she only had a limited amount of allowance from the parents. So we really didn't have the ability to do anything fun. So instead, we would go to McDonald's for the fun night, and I'm sure some of you can appreciate that. And it got so bad that we would do this as kind of like our basic cheap date, and I would do things. I think there was a TV commercial that had the exact thing I did. I used to bring like carnations with me to the date, and we'd just put it on the table, and I had a little electric candle we would use sometimes. But romanticism aside, it was still this place, and we always went there. So frequently we would be like going to somewhere else, like some sort of function. It was a very small town, and I would just be driving and talking like I do, and suddenly my partner would start laughing because instead of going to wherever we were going, we would just be in the parking lot of McDonald's. And I call it sleep driving, and I don't recommend it. So there's your random story. Now I'm caught up with you all. All right, it is time to land the plane. Thank you for the question, though, Pri. I hope I answered it appropriately. Because toxicity is also in the eye of the beholder. But I'll tell you the obvious one that I should have led with, which is chat. Straight up. Chat has more problems than solutions. Now, I'm not saying it's not fun, and I'm not saying it's not valuable. I'm just saying the solutions to your problems in chat are much less than the problems that chat's going to give you. Do you mind if I out your profession, Shan?
No, go ahead.
So Shan's part of her career was leading customer service teams, customer management teams, customer support teams. Thank you. For various games, lots of genres too, several genres, and so that was her realm. Was this thing exactly this thing I'm talking about? Was chat is great, chat is terrible. All right, I'm going to do the closing ceremonies. If there's one more question, that's cool. I'll do that. But I don't remember what the question was, to be honest. So let's leave that as a mystery. Though you can watch this again on VOD, and they won't have the commercials in the same place. I understand, but you have to understand, Ministress, that I am so far along the road of stream of consciousness that I didn't actually have the right answer. Because I was talking about toxicity in co-op, right? Okay. I was talking about some of the things. Mistress brought up force grouping. I was talking about City of Heroes. Did you all get that with the City of Heroes, where they had methods of equalizing all players? And that's great. That is a good way to handle the situations of I don't have the same level, I don't have the same mastery, and it leaves you with a little bit of the hero. You didn't disappear all the way as the hero, because everyone could contribute at least almost equally, even if the monster was huge, even if you're level 1 and they're level 50. So that's good. Everything else is bad. Everything else is bad in co-op, and it causes that toxicity of greed, of envy, running out of 7 sins, but several of the other 7 sins. It can't just be equitable. It has to be of similar effort. And same thing's true with schools and group projects, right? I mentioned that a couple times. I have no idea what's going on with these. But they're evil. It says evil nest. And they make evil nest sounds when they go. All right, let's wrap up. And the other answer, the better answer, the more wise and reasoned Sojourner answer, will have to wait until you watch it on VOD. Because apparently, I am off my rocker. Who am I, though, who is off their rocker? My name is Sojourner. I am a video game designer of 20 years. I work for PieTrap, the stream, or the channel that you're on right now. PieTrap is a art outsourcer and game studio, and I am the game designer for their game studio. Their art outsourcing is top-notch, by the way. Don't get them mixed up with the game design. But the game design is what I do for them, and the game we're working on is called Forage Friends. It is a gardening and crafting game that leads into, or that allows you to make gifts for our main companions that are in a visual novel format. As you gain your relationships and the exciting lives of these companions, we make you want to do this cycle through healthful walking. Every day we want you to walk IRL. Go out there, walk a little bit. And not this Pokemon Go, walk 20 miles to get anywhere type thing. This is just move your body once a day, get up, walk. And we'll give you loot. And then you can use that loot to garden and craft. And then you can give those gifts to the companions. And by the way, when you're walking, you have your companion with you who wants to say things. So that loop is our big bet. It's a 3-genre game. But in the end, we are trying to create a habit of walking. And by the way, our goal is not walking in terms of speed walking or running or anything. We support that. You can be wheelchair bound, and we'll still record your movement. You can be a person who only walks on their hands. We'll still record your movement. You can be a person who has been shot into space but is shaking their phone. We will still record that movement. So what we care about is not how much effort. We care about the effort. And your companions will thank you. Your loot will thank you, etc., etc., etc. So that's who we are. That's what I'm doing. I'm deploying my 20 years of game design to work on this game. And every so often on Thursdays, oh wow, it's really dark out here. Every so often on Thursdays, every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. on Pacific time, I am here. I'm sitting in this chair. I'm being Sojourner. And as Sojourner, I am here to talk about a different game design topic every week. Now, I knew I was doing 2 weeks of Ale and Tale. I do not know what I'm going to do next week. The world is in chaos when it comes to my mind thinking of video games. So let's just put a pin in that. But every Thursday, new design topic, game that matches that topic. It was a real pleasure to play with Shan. It's nice to play co-op. And so thank you, Shan, for being a part of this delicious breakfast of gaming. I want to thank the usuals, like Ministress and Uglervik, who are loyal. Hey, stuff's on fire. Or not on fire, but at least leaking. I want to thank Pri, who is the founder of the Feast here, is the also my creative director, one of the founders of PyTrap. I want to thank all you folks who are lurking. I want to thank all you folks who are on VOD. I want to thank all you folks who are on live, and I want to thank all you folks who are on YouTube. Psychically, I can detect all of you, and that gives me the power to travel astrally in my dreams. So I appreciate all of that. I desperately need those juices, and you're giving them to me. And on that note, I'm gonna let Pri take that Ministress question. Yeah, and by the way, Pri is right. My ability to test is very limited because we're a scrappy indie game studio. My request to launch into space on a SpaceX capsule and test our game has been denied. Not really by Pri, but also by science itself. Ministress. I'm actually curious about the answer to that too. I don't know exactly how a pie trap involves itself with a pie involving a lot of very quiet birds. If you think about this situation, we've really gone over time though. My finger keeps going off, so I'm just going to do a quick wrap up, and then it'll be time for y'all to get. Though I do have an offer for you when we're done here. That may or may not be something that'll fit into your business, but hopefully it is. So we covered tonight the dangers of co-op. And what we're really doing is talking about that one thing in EverQuest where they say it's time to slay the dragon, but then you show up and there's 40 people in a bureaucracy that you've all had to schedule like a Zoom meeting to play. So you want glory, story, and loot, maybe a moment of greatness, and you get none of that. Instead, you're in a voice chat hell. Instead, you're just one person out of 40 and probably not even known to everyone. So that is the thing we're trying to address. That's the disappearing hero. You're no longer the hero you logged in on. You're just a cog in the wheel. You're not a person who can enjoy what is actually happening in the narrative because you're just a foot soldier. The pressure cooker of parties. They want to go do something, you don't get to do something. They want to go do something now, you don't get to read the text, etc., etc., etc. The loot lottery. Asynchronous loots causes people to be jealous. It causes FOMO. It causes envy. It causes grind. Gaps because this person played more. Oops, haha, I saw you this time. This person plays more and therefore has better stuff. This person plays less and has worse stuff. This person plays less and luckily through RNG got the best sword in the game. All of this stuff is the loot lottery. It's a feel bad. Players don't like it when they lose. Level up, left behind. If you can't keep up, then you are suddenly not able to play the game, period. Or at least with your friends. And then last but not least is the curse of coordination. You have to have a calendar. You have to have Discord channels. You have to have all these things just to play the game. So these are the bads of co-op. And we want you to be a hero anyway by finding those asymmetrical solo expression choice games like Ale and Tale. We want you to be able to find people like Shan here who respects my pace of play, respects my play style, and vice versa. And we want to find games where this impact is felt, and that's why we found Ale and Tale Tavern. Woo! Now it's time for me. I did the closing ceremonies. So the offer is Sojourner is going to go away, and in approximately 15 minutes, Cloud Yeller is going to show up on his channel for approximately a couple hour stream of a game that may or may not surprise you. It's going to be Heart of the Machine. So if you're into really weird, crunchy, awesome games about being an AI that is either a good AI or an evil AI, I'm a middle. I'm starting to harvest people's brains so that way I can get more computing power. But I also have cats and dogs. So, a little bit of one, a little bit of the other. Anyways, you can find me on the Cloud Yeller channel. If you know. Anyone else, I just said the name. But I do want to thank PyTrap for giving me this space, and it is my pleasure to do a little lesson for y'all, play a little bingo, have a wonderful guest star in the form of Shan, and therefore I can start to do the very last thing that I always do, which is to remind you, oh, Lou, come join me on Cloud Trap later. Or Cloud Trap, woo! Cloud Yeller later. It's good to see you, though. It's good to have you swing in. And by the way, the thickness of the tinfoil matter. You got me off me saying my essential truth. So let me say my essential truth, my friends, and that is, you're all rad. Be well.